What's up and welcome back to the channel. Fiercely Collecting here, and you guessed it, we are doing another Fast and Furious die-cast showcase and unboxing. So if you could possibly guess the theme of this one, it is going to be Brian's R34 Skyline from Too Fast, Too Furious. So I recently did my video going over all the Too Fast, Too Furious cars. So I did showcase a bunch of these already. And some of you pointed out actually a couple that I missed, including the monster truck version of Brian's R34, which is super cool. The detail on it is actually very, very, very good. I think I compared it to the Hot Wheels premium version of it, and I feel like the detailing was actually better on the monster truck than on the regular Hot Wheels, which is kind of funny. But this is definitely a pretty cool one and just very unique. Another one is the Fast and Furious set where they put like the liveries on the more classic versions of all the cars. So this technically isn't the R34 Skyline, but it is the the Skyline 2000 GTX or whatever. But it does have the correct livery on it, which is pretty cool. But today we are going to be adding one that I have been wanting for quite some time, and this is actually a Johnny Lightning version of Brian's Skyline. So the interesting thing about this is, even though it is Johnny Lightning, if you take a look at the Racing Champions, you'll notice a lot of similarities with the Too Fast, Too Furious logo. Like the background of the card is like the speedometer, which is the same on this. So I did a little research, and the company here on the back, this RC2, I believe sometime in the early 2000s, that company was made, and they bought up a bunch of die-cast brands, and that included Racing Champions. And I think they kind of merged in with Johnny Lightning. So I think this, I would technically say that this is a Racing Champions. I mean, it looks like dang near identical. And another thing, the wheels on here are the same wheels that's on Roman's Eclipse that is a Racing Champions. So I'm curious to get this thing out of the package and kind of look at the bottom of the cars and stuff and just see if a lot of the stuff is the same. But very cool that we have basically a Racing Champions version of Brian's Skyline. This car has been on my list for quite some time, but it was usually trading on eBay for around $80 to $100, and I just never pulled the trigger. I always knew I probably would end up doing it just as I kind of run out of Fast and Furious cars to buy and collect. But I randomly saw it pop up on eBay. I think it was for $40 or best offer, and I offered him $35 and he accepted. So I guess my persistence definitely paid off with this one, as I got it for like a third of the price that it looked like it normally trades for. So we will try to keep the packaging pristine, but here it is in all of its glory. It has some pretty decent weight to it. It has a metal base. These wheels definitely look a little bunk, like very interesting. It does roll. Give it actually this front wheel. So the front wheel is stuck. Might have to maybe do a little digging on this, see if we can't get it to roll. But let's look at some of the details here. So very minimal details on the front. It does have the correct striping, how the racing stripes just go on the front. Got the blue plastic. Yeah, I believe the wing is plastic. And yeah, very basic detailing on this. I would say, I mean, side profile is definitely the best view of this car, that is for sure. Let's compare the wheels real quick. They do look slightly different, I would say. You have to let me know what you think. I mean, they are very, very close. I think the Eclipse wheels might just be a tad bigger. But the bottom of this says Trademark Universal Studios, has all the Racing Champions and Fast and Furious logo. And this also is a plastic base. And this says Universal Studios, and it does have the Johnny Lightning base on it. Interesting. So that might just be when they transition, when that company bought out Racing Champs. But all in all, very cool that we got another version here of Brian's Skyline, because as you see, we definitely needed a couple more here in the collection. Get some nice close-up turntable shots for you here. I know my last video, I was supposed to be doing turntable shots of all those ultra premiums, and I totally spaced it. So I still have, you know, dealing with the newborn right now, still have a pretty fuzzy brain at the moment. But here we are with a close-up look at this one. You can see the wheels are really funky. They do not look great at all. You can see that horrible tucked fitment there in the back. That front wheel doesn't even want to turn. So might have to dig into this one just a little bit and see if I can't get those wheels figured out, but they look pretty bad right now. I've also been watching a lot of Craig Lieberman's YouTube videos, who he was very heavily involved in the first couple Fast and Furious movies. So I watched some info on this car, which actually was Craig Lieberman's own car that they used in the movie, which is pretty cool. And he also shared some other details, like the car that Brian was going to drive originally was the Dodge Neon SRT4, and super glad they scratched that in place of the R34 Skyline. That would have been very interesting to have Paul Walker drive a Dodge Neon here in Too Fast, Too Furious. So very interesting. All right, well, we successfully added yet another R34 to our, you know, just our small, modest little collection here that we have going on, but super happy to have it. I know when I was doing all of my digging in on the Racing Champions car, I knew I was pretty bummed that there wasn't a version of Brian's Skyline, and this still technically isn't the Racing Champions, but I would say it's pretty close and has like similar aesthetics and stuff, and will look good displayed next to the other Too Fast, Too Furious Racing Champions cars. But as always, thank you so much for stopping by and tuning in here, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next video. Peace.